So really, more than anything, being a lover of Poe and having Poe, being such a part of my literary background and really my life and of my exposure to the horror film, but also horror literature, I really wanted to stay as true to him as I possibly could. So that's why I'm just going to use his text, nothing but. But we'll also include the poem The Conqueror Worm, which only appears in later publications of Ligeia.
Oh, well, that's a nice treat. It
was really important for me to add that. Once again, as a reference to Vincent Price, The Conqueror Worm was the name of a film that Price starred in, I think in the early 70s, which was then basically retitled The Witchfinder General. And it was about witch persecution in basically Cromwell's England. But interestingly enough, though it was written several hundred years after the events of that film, he used not only that title but also the poem itself in the narrative of the film, which I thought was really interesting, and that was kind of a tip of the hat from Vincent Price to Edgar Allan Poe. So I felt that would be perfect to use in our version of Ligeia as well. The first time that it was published, 1839, it did not include the poem, which is part of the narrative in Poe's original longer version. But when it was published in a later version, I believe the year directly after Poe's death, 1850, it included The Conqueror Worm, which is basically about the inevitability of death. I'll read you the last lines of it. I've actually got it here in front of me.
Yes, please do.
The poem really takes place in a theater where someone is seeing what is kind of a metaphorical representation of life leading to its end. And the last lines are as follows. Out are the lights, out all. And over each quivering form, the curtain, a funeral pall, comes down with the rush of the storm, while the angels, all pallid and wan, uprising, unveiling, affirm that the play is the tragedy, man, and its hero, the Conqueror Worm. That is, death conquers all.
Okay, well, I hope you had a good time on the show. I definitely welcome you back to the crypt to tell everybody about it.
We will absolutely not only shout out the show itself, but we would love to come back and talk to you about when we are in production with the piece.
Oh, sure, not a problem. I greatly welcome that.
Well, great. Thanks so much, Baron.
All right, thank you. You have a good night.
All right, you have a wonderful night. We'll be listening after.
All right, thank you.